YouTube analytics.
But once the video is on YouTube.
Nope. Changes year to year. How class works year to year, what we do changes.
That's not what I mean. Once you record something and put it on YouTube, the file is permanently there.
You are correct.
Wouldn't deleting the file?
Yes. That's why when my hard drive fills up, I do that.
Okay, so you do delete all the files. Just
Haha, you said duty.
But the
Jackson.
So I assume the Slope-Intercept reference sheet is because we're sort of struggling with...
Some of us.
Yeah.
So some of us, so if I can actually like make my announcements as people keep hijacking my announcements. Hey, Ski Club people, you're not here. So we are going to play Jenga to review Slope-Intercept. For those of you that are not here, I would love it if you would get your own copy of this paper at some point. But regardless, the completed version of this paper is in the Chapter 7 folder under the Slope-Intercept reference sheet. But those of us that are here today that are going to do it, here's how this is going to work. I'm going to give your teams, that you don't know your teams yet, 10 minutes to complete as much of that reference sheet as possible. Elias, can I help you? You're right. You're doing what we've talked about, where that's going to distract you. You're going to miss my announcement. So please sit down and just listen. I know. It's going to distract you, and you're not going to be able to hear at the same time. Thank you. We're going to get into our groups, and you're going to have about 10 minutes to complete as much of the paper as possible, which means you don't need to be frantically doing it right now. Then, we're going to play Jenga with it, just because why not? You want to listen to your partners and have good conversations about why things are what they are. And the first thing you're going to do when you get together is discuss what goes on those lines at the very top part, right? Where it talks about the M is and the B is. So our teams, or the people that are here, show these. Yeah, because I don't want to show people's first and last names, and I already am going to have to go back and chop that part of the video out. But so Eden's going to be a captain. Jude, where did he go? I thought he was in here. Well, he lost his chance to be a captain. Cora, where do you want your team to go?
Here.
Okay, and Eden, did you say there? Oh, sweet. Corner table for Eden's team. Okay, and then we'll just random pick out of the stack. Elias, where do you want your team to go? All right, so we're corner table for Eden's team, which I will call those people out. Well, let's just do Eden's team as corner table. So 2 more people for her. Eliana, you're with Eden, and Abby, you're with Eden. With Cora, Lucy, and Kyle. With Elias, Jackson, and Jack. Why are my teams like genderfying? Jude gets to pick his team when he gets back.
Wait, what?
Because there's 1 card left. There are 3 teams of 3 right now. Jude's not here. He's going to pick when he gets back. So, Elias, Jackson, and Jack, get with Elias. Eden, Eliana, and Abby, get with each other. Cora, Lucy, Kyle, get with each other. You have 10 minutes to complete as much of this paper with your group as possible to be ready so that when we do this together, we can go quickly. Hey, so take like a minute to talk about what goes on those lines. I'm going to make sure that we all have the same thing on those lines. So, like, take a moment to discuss with each other, so then we will do it together. If I was you, I'd maybe make this paper obvious. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use a Sharpie, but this is yours to keep. This is not homework. This is not homework. This is not homework. But it's yours to keep and reference back to. So, I can't use random cards right now because they're all taken. The M is what? What do we call our M, Jackson?
Slope.
It is our slope, but that only does so much good if we know it's the word. How do we find the slope? Like, what do we do to get slope? Abby?
It's the y
So it is the change in y over the change in x. Abby also said, yeah, Jude, you get to pick what team you're with. Abby also said if you get to the change in y every time the x moves 1, you are automatically to your simplified slope. Another way other teachers have talked about it, what are those words, those R words that we... Yeah, it's the rise over the run. So then our B value is the what? Cora. Which, guys, that only does so much good if you don't know what the y-intercept is, so we should probably clarify. That's the value of y when what? What does it mean that we're at the y-intercept? It's the y when x equals 0, right? So the B is the y-intercept, but it's when x equals 0. I would do the Hudson thing and tell Elias, or the two of you should, but yeah, he's right, because there's no space on the front of that table. Or all of you scooch back, right? You guys got plenty of space. You can go wherever you want, the 4 of you. So you got 8 minutes left. Get through as much of this paper as possible.
So are we labeling?
On the back, I guess I should say this. On the back, hey, on the back, 1 set of axes. I'm not trying to make you make a bunch of, and you can do this on your homework. So if I was you, I'd get a ruler to make your life easier. I'd make my single set of axes obvious. So I'm going to use a color that I'm not going to use, because then I'm going to color code this paper, right, so that I know what line is what line. So if I was you, I'd highlight, maybe I make this one my blue line. Maybe I make that one my green line. Maybe I make that one my pink line. When you get to the back, I would color code those lines so you know what's what. I'm going to flip the timer and at least zip my lips for 5 minutes. Trust me, I celebrate that too, because it lets me stop talking for a moment. So you can collaborate more easily, because it's a team activity.
Do you want us to move the chairs over there, or do you want us to move the whole?
How about I move chairs, so you guys only have to move your bodies? How about I do half the work?
Okay.
Okay.
I do think you and Jude should come over here. It would make more sense if you can collaborate.
That's what a team is for.
By the way, this morning you had a new record that the Jenga tower fell over on the 2nd block. What? So yeah, not joking. So maybe we try to be better than that. But either way, I think we can just play with this tower how it is, because it fell over. We restacked it. And only pulled 2 other blocks. Hey, I need to go find a classmate to give him a message. Eliana, this is your stuff, right? Just making sure it wasn't somebody else's. So I'm going to leave you guys working. I got to go drop a message to one of your class, not in this class. He's elsewhere. You are writing out the rule. So, yeah, I guess I didn't say this. The instructions are up on the board, but what is the rule that matches this line? So put it in the y equals mx plus b form. So, by looking at the y-intercept and by identifying what the slope is, you should be able to write out y equals whatever for that line.
This time, all ski club members are dismissed to the buses.
They already were.
Club members are dismissed.
That's an all school.
Yeah.
Guys, it's okay if we're having to be corrected by other people, and I don't know what's going on. I just walked back in. But we're practicing this because when I looked at the masteries, I could tell some of us needed more practice on writing y equals mx plus b. Form of a line.
I believe you.
I had asked a friend a question of how he wanted me to send this picture, because it's a picture of a logo that we had made way back in the day. And he said, do whatever brings you joy. Just like, that response just makes me laugh. A friend of mine, because I'm supposed to send him this logo. We used to print t-shirts. Like my college fraternity, like that was one of our fundraisers, is we had a t-shirt press.
I have a bunch of my brother's old fraternity shirts.
We would print for like anybody. So we would do like an order for like Westerville High School, like softball team. We'd make anybody's
I
shirts.
stopped wearing my brother's shirts out in public
Because people
kept asking me for pictures of my shirts.
right. And
Because
it was probably vintage.
It was called Alpha Sigma Phi. Oh. So I kept getting people like, hey, can I take a picture of your shirt? And I'm like, sure, I'm not going to deny you that. But like, it got kind of annoying.
I still don't understand why they.
It's slang, and people are like, oh, that's funny.
It's not though.
Yeah.
Alpha Sigma Phi is a national fraternity that exists all over the place, even at Otterbeins campus. And it doesn't even it's not even a funny.
Yeah. It's just
Where,
because
like-
it's brain rot. Or it's
Also,
like that's
Oh, you mean like Alpha and Sigma? Yeah, that's just stupid. No, I'm focusing on the actual Greek side of you saying that, and you're talking about the YouTube brain rot side.
That's why people
Jack.
ask me for
No, that's why you have a team. Talk to your team. Ooh, trap door. Watch out for the scale. Jack is pointing out that we got to watch out for the scale. Scale on some of the, well, one of these. I don't even think it's some. I think it's one.
Just 5 even.
This is the x-axis. So at this point, x equals -2. But hold on, your slope is not 2. It looks like it's 2.
I did,
But that's
but
a trap.
it wasn't.
Because what is the scale of the y-axis here? What's the scale? Is the y-axis counting by 1s? It's counting by 2s, right? So this, hey Jack, when somebody's trying to help you, is there a reason that you're like I'm trying to help you, but if you want me to walk away, I will, and I can leave your wrong answer wrong. But if you'd like to get smarter, maybe let me give you some feedback. So if we look at this growth triangle, what looks like it's 2 is not. How big is this actually? 2. No. 1? Knowing that this is 10, you just told me the y is going up by how many?
Did I mess up here, or these are not parallel?
6, 8, 10. Right, we gotta count by 2s. So this looks like it's going to be 4. That's a change in y of 4.
There is something very satisfying about parallel lines, though. Yeah, like drawing on 2 with markers, it's so nice. Yes. But like especially
Just wait until you build something where things come out to be perfectly parallel, and then you're like, yeah, watch me. All right, probably 1 minute, and we'll get going with the actual Jenga. I don't know that I'll ever try to do dovetails because I like feeling good about myself, and I think trying to do dovetails will just make me feel bad about myself. All right, for anyone why are they talking about a bird? This is what it means to do dovetails. Drawers, if you go home and you look at woodworking that's been made by machines can make this pretty darn easily because they're precise and made by computers. For a human to cut these is very difficult. So that's why I'm saying I don't know that I will ever actually try that. This is only broken up into 10 questions. Jude, you picked that group. Now pick a number between 1 and 3. Ooh, so Cora's group will go first. Cora, pick a number 1 or 2. You don't know what's what. 2, so Jude's group will go second then. Abby's group, sorry, you guys will be going third. Let's dive into this because we would like to identify if we've made any mistakes. So, Kyle, pick a number. 8. He says 8. Now, for these questions, you have to tell me how to draw the graph. So what I mean is I'm going to put my paper up, and you're going to tell me how to draw the graph. So turn to your teammates and make sure that all of you would be able to explain how I should draw this graph before you guys tell me that you're ready. We're checking with each other, so flip to the back, right? If you guys haven't done this one yet.
We're not good. We're great.
All right, Tony the Tiger.
My grandma told me to say that whenever she asked if I was good or not.
Guys, some of us might need these reminders that this is the x-axis, that this is the y-axis, right? That these out here would be the positive x's, that these would be the negative values of x's. I'm going to scale this 1 to 1. I don't know why you wouldn't do 1 to 1, but there is a trap on the front of the paper where it did not scale 1 to 1. I'll just point that out right now, especially for anyone watching the video. This is why I grabbed a second paper. But on this part E, if we get to 10 on the 5th box up, so yeah, this y-axis scales by 2s. If you did not catch that on the front, you might want to make sure that you catch that before we move on. But all right, so Kyle's team. Remember, it's not necessarily gonna be Kyle. Are you guys ready to tell? No. Okay, that is fine. Keep chatting it out. Hey, be ready for a steal opportunity, because if they're taking their time, maybe they're not confident.
Don't be scared, Kyle. You should be.
I'm going to make that like pink on my graph. I'm going to color code it pink just because.
Anarchy. Mine is ugly because anarchy.
Oh my god. Thank you, Mr. Hudson.
You're welcome.
I do like this.
So this is your x-axis, right? I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're intersecting at 6, right? This line. No, this. Where my highlighter is that 6. Is this upside down? I'm confused. Tell me where.
No, I drew it like this because I made one of the lines 11 and I need more space for that.
So you can't be making tables. You're not following the directions. We're supposed to be able to graph these without making tables. We need to know how to do this. That's the point of what we're doing.
So one of them goes into the negatives.
Yeah. You can still do this without a table. This is why we're practicing this. Elias, just like I just talked to Jack. Do you believe that can walk away and let me be wrong. Stop. We're not going to use a pen on this one because it is too much erasing. So we can use highlighters. I know, Elias, that it's too much. We're going to use highlighters to color code this. So I'm not even telling you to use a pencil. Jude threw that there, but we're going to use highlighters. First things first, we need to draw axes. Pick a color to draw your axes. Hey, I'm going to go over this one full group because I don't know how confident Kyle's team is, but they're taking a while. So,
We're ready now. We're ready.
all right, well, so we're going to go over this full group. I hope you guys have figured out it correctly now. But everyone needs to be listening along because if you read what this says, we should not be making tables. We can make tables, but we're trying to push past that point to where we can just read the relationship and know how to graph it without spending a bunch of time making a table. Friends, I'm trying to save you time. And this is part of what I have to teach you. So, like, it's a twofold, right? I'm trying to save you time, and it's what I have to teach you. So, we have our axes. Do you need a moment to get the axes on there? Because I want to make sure that you're with us because you're fighting me. We're not making tables, we're making a graph with axes. A table is where we have like X, Y.
Well, I mean, but that's what works. I don't understand what's wrong.
And that's why we're doing this.
Explain it. I don't get what I did wrong.
You're circling back to, again, why we're doing this. You don't get what you did wrong, and yet what you graphed is incorrect. Will you come with me on this journey and, like, entertain that I know what I'm talking about and I have something to teach you? Please. But you have to actually decide mentally that you're going to stop writing what you're writing and come along with me because I'm trying to show you how to go. If you jump off the path and do your own thing, you very well might get eaten by a monster. That's up to you. Talk me through, Lucy.
Okay, so first you're gonna want to plot a point at up on the y-axis at 0, 8.
Because if we look back at the front of our paper, this B value is telling us the Y value when X is 0. So, Lucy's saying, if I know my B value here is 8, I put a point at 0, 8, which if I was you, I'd maybe make this note somewhere. I don't care how you draw on your paper because this paper is for you. But that tells us, and we could also, if we were like making a table and we plugged in X of 0, we'd get a Y of 8 when we plug in X of 0. I need you like participating in what we're doing. I would use that fresh copy that I had just put down because then you won't have to erase. So we go up to 8 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we drop a point from my pink line at 0, 8. Because we know in an equation like this, that is the y-intercept. I can code it like this if I would like to. Then how do we move Cora?
So you would, since it's -3x, that's the same as -3 over 1, and it's rise over run, or in this case, it's like going down. So like drop over run.
So if we go back to our front, right, we wrote down that slope is the change in y compared to the change in x. Every way we wrote it down was a ratio. So Cora said -3 is really -3 over 1 if I turn it into a ratio. So that says go down 3, go to the right 1. So from the point where we started, go down 3 to the right 1. Go down 3 to the right. And I don't have to do any math. If I know how to read that equation, it saves me from, I don't have to calculate anything. we should end up with, like I caught Lucy when I looked at her paper and said, like, and I'm pointing this out because I feel like a lot of times people start to compare themselves to whoever they feel like, oh, well, they're just good at this.
Yeah.
Guys, even Lucy, I walked by their desk and said, that's wrong. And she said, what do you mean? What? I said, why are all your slopes negative? She goes, -3, our line should be going down as we read it from the left to the right. And guys, because this is your reference paper, after you draw your line, I would write y equals -3x plus 8, because that's the equation of that line, and you can keep using this paper as a reference point. I would like us to do another one of these together just because we're back here looking at it. If you haven't done A yet, take like 30 seconds to do A. I'm going to find it and I'm going to take it out of Jenga. So it is, yeah, so you guys can go to the tower if you want, but I'm going to remove A because it's number 10. All right, so come with me. Anybody can answer these. For this line, what is the y-intercept of line A? What is the y-intercept of line A? 3. Right? It's the constant that is by itself. So the y-intercept is 3. If you want to, you could write down, okay, that tells me 0, 3. So we put a point on the y-axis at 3. Then, sorry, taking a moment to make sure everyone's with me. Anyone need me to slow down? How do we move from that point? Anybody, because this is not for Jenga. So I'm going to make a note up here, especially for any of our ski club people. That's our M. Right? We get told M equals 4. But we want slope to be a ratio. So how do I make 4 into a ratio? Negative? Just positive 4 over 1, right? So M is really 4 over 1. So that tells me go 4 up, go 1 right? Because positive goes up, positive goes right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now wait, what if I run out of space, but I would still... I want to let people catch up. What if I want to go to the left of here? So hold on just a second. Hey, Elias, I swear, I'm not trying to pick on you, but you're still working, and I want you to see what we're about to do. Pause for a second. We don't have... Okay, well, then can you answer for me how I can go to the left of this? Like, I went up. I found these points. How could I go the other direction? But 4 up, 1 left would take me, like, here. So our slope, we've been working our slope of 4. Right? So 4 up, 1 right has been our slope of 4. Right? I can show that if I draw the slope triangle, the like right? I can do the whole like +4, +1. You know, take another stab at it. Because it's going to connect to make a line, and I still use 4 and I still use 1. Anybody? Just shout it, just say it.
4 down, 1 left.
So, guys, keep doing what I've been doing, but flip, instead of 4 up, 1 right, 4 down, 1 left, 4, so, or, like, really what I did up here is I made this -4 over -1. So, 4 down, 1 left for the negative, and then we can connect it together. And I would, again, label this on your paper, 4x plus 3. I would write that equation next to that line, especially if you've been color coding. All right, so back to doing some Jenga. Jude's team. Let's shuffle these up. You guys each have a 25% chance. Elias, pick a number. 9. Y equals 3x. Chat with your team before you are able to tell me how to do this. Y equals 3x. If you need more explanation than that, I don't know what to tell you. It is my job to get you to do this. The future math classes that you're going to take are going to involve this slope-intercept form. So you have the option. If you don't want to learn this year, you don't have to. You can switch back into Math 7, and you can switch back into Math 7, and wait till next year to learn this next year. So you have to decide. Either you get over this anger that you have me trying to get you to do it a different way. I'm trying to get you to do it the easier way, the faster way. Building tables slows us down. So you tell me, do you want me to explain to you how to do this? Because we just did it up on the board and you did not follow what we did. I'm going to get you another table. Because we can't erase highlighter, your lines are wrong. And I don't actually have a reference page that is incorrect. We're not going to spend the time erasing highlighter. I'll phrase it differently. Draw axes. Let's use the red marker to draw axes just because it's real obvious that it's not one of our lines. Or would you like to use a different color? I can give you another copy for the front. Like we could just cross out the back of this and say that we're just using the front for this. So what I'm trying to get you to do is back to our use of tables. Go ahead, because I know you like making the tables. Make a table for this. Love it. Perfect. What about 0? Just think about if x was 0. Okay. So when we go to graph this line, let's pick a color highlighter. Or we can use Sharpie. No, it's not really dark enough. Let's make something obvious. Pick a color, an actual color. So highlight that equation. Take that color, I'll put it in a box or something. So we're going to put these points on the graph. So go ahead and find where those points go. And then we could go backwards. Now, what about the 0? Because didn't we just say we were at 0, 0, 0, right? So then how do we keep going down in this area? Yeah, so go ahead and keep going. Give me a minute. All right, so Jack, are you able to talk me through how to graph y equals 3x?
Yes. So you're gonna want to basically you don't treat as y equals 3x plus 0. In this case, we start at
Oh, wait, now why'd you put on the plus 0? How does that help us?
because the b is like where you start at. And since there's anything there, we add plus 0 so to signify that it is origin.
Yeah, so the b here, the y-intercept point, right? If you look at the front, right, the b, the y-intercept point, Jack is saying, I know to put that at 0 because there was nothing shown, which means it's a plus 0. So then how do I move from there?
You go right 1 and then up 3.
Because my slope of 3 is really 3 over 1. So Jack says I can go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. What if I'm here and I want to go like left, like down into this region?
You would go basically just 1 left and then down.
Yeah, just do the opposite, right?
Yeah, just I call it like reflecting the x-axis.
Yeah, and I need to borrow a purple highlighter because all of mine up here are gone.
You're reflecting over the
Could you rotate that about? You can rotate that about the origin. I'm not quite sure how many degrees.
Hey, so notice our slope of 4 versus our slope of 3 are really close to each other, but we can see that 4 is steeper, right? 4 is climbing a little quicker than 3. Let's do this final one together just to see if this has stuck. For part D, that I'm going to make blue. Yeah, so you guys can send someone up. Part D. Part D. I want everyone to pop quiz themselves. Take a moment. What is the y-intercept for part D? Shout it out. -1, right? This b, that plus, so if you want to note on your paper, that's 0, -1. So I put a point at -1 on the y-axis. You with me for that part? I don't understand your question because I'm just asking you, does it make sense how we get to the y-intercept of -1? If we made x 0, like the reason that is if x was 0, y comes out to be -1. This is the trick. What number's in front of x? What number is in front of this x? Not 0. It's a 1. Guys, this is 1x. Like when I say, like, good morning, Cora, good morning, Elias. You're assuming I'm talking about one of you. So that tells me the slope is 1, which is 1 over 1, which means from that -1 starting point, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over. And I get my line that a slope of 1 is kind of easy to recognize. It cuts. Yeah, well, it applies here. It cuts. Hey, guys, you're making this take longer than it needs to. It cuts directly through all of your boxes. And I would label this somewhere on your paper that is a slope of 1 and that y-intercept of -1. Sorry, so y equals x plus -1, or you could say x minus 1. Guys, when this is on your homework, like coming up, there's no new homework today, but when this is on your homework, you need to practice doing it without making tables. This is easier once you get the hang of it. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk about problems from the front tomorrow because most of our classmates aren't here anyways. So we'll talk about problems from the front tomorrow.